So guys, after it feels like 1,000 years of waiting, we finally got the one thing everyone was hoping for with Battlefield 2042. Regardless of whether or not you've been optimistic or pessimistic, or regardless of how much you felt optimistic or pessimistic up to this point, or maybe a mix of both, that is absolutely also possible and completely understandable. After so long, everyone's gotten the one thing they've wanted. Some actual gameplay. And not just 10 seconds from a CGI film, no, like a minute or something. And it was all featured in this brand new video announcing the dates of the open beta, October 8th to 9th. Unless you count private access, closed beta access. But if you're not going for that, which I may do myself, I mean, if you pre-order the game through Amazon, like any game, once you get the code, you can just cancel the pre-order and still play it. So, in a way, it's technically open access if you want to look at it like that. But that's besides the point. 2 days to play the game without the closed access. And even with it, it's at most 4 days. And if I recall correctly, every single previous Battlefield beta, at a minimum, has been at least 3 days. Just open access. And thinking back to previous Battlefield games, every single one up to this point has had so much more marketing. In terms of repeating history with the series, yes, while it's repeating history in terms of being very reminiscent of Battlefield 4 in terms of gameplay and aesthetic, it's also repeating history in terms of Battlefield 5 with a delay and just the general lack of full positivity. Yeah, there's plenty of excitement about the game, but at the same time, there's definitely some concerns, like the fact that it took so long to get proper gameplay footage aside from a few seconds at E3 and again, a CGI movie. Up to this point, we've had a lot more to it, and going off of talks about private play sessions a while ago at this point, there wasn't too much confidence, albeit it could have just been that was a much older build, but still, there's just something with this game where there just isn't enough positivity at this point as there should be. There isn't as much talk as there should be in a really, really good light. And yes, some people may look at it as, well, this is done intentionally to get more people talking about the game, and yeah, it is working, but is it for the best reasons? I'm not really all that certain. Just like how I'm not all that certain in terms of being excited about the game, because as much as I have been looking forward to it, that much is very apparent for anyone who's been around long enough and has watched enough videos about 2042, or what it was originally called, 6, on this channel. Or not even called, just as the placeholder name. You all get what I mean. But even with how much I've been looking forward to the game, there's always been this part of me, and I've also made this very apparent in videos about how it's always best to keep your expectations only so high, you know. Hope for the best, but always expect the worst, because as pessimistic as that may sound, it's worked out in many cases. I mean, look at Cyberpunk 2077. Let's not forget how that turned out, and let's look at Battlefield 4. Let's look at the game like that and how that game's launch turned out, and how for a year and a half the game was a fucking disaster, which it was still fun. It was torture, but it was fun. Okay? You would be kicked out of matches half the time playing it, but those times being kicked out beforehand, the matches when they functioned like somewhat were actually a blast to play. And you know, that was the standard 2020 standard Battlefield 4 experience for a while. In those days, there was also many other games around that era which launched like absolute trash. But you know, we're past that era of so many games coming out back to back messed up, aside from a little bit of that again in 2020 because of whether it be incompetence with the studio and the publishing, or just the pandemic taking a bit of an effect on game development. And at this point, it no doubt still has an effect to some extent, and I'm sure that 2042's development has definitely been impacted by the pandemic. No doubt about that. And just a bunch of different factors, like how the handling of Battlefield 5 was done, it really does make me worry about what the results, the end product of 2042 is going to be on launch. Is it truly going to work as well as we want it to? Honestly, just keeping it as real as I can, I don't think it's going to like be as functioning as we want it to be. I think there's going to be quite a few issues and bugs and such that are going to still have to be dealt with post-launch. I get the feeling some content, like, I don't know, I feel like some content is going to be in the process of wait till later seasons for this content to appear. I just get that feeling from this game. Something in my gut is telling me the game isn't going to come out of the oven as well baked as it should. And I think that we should all be prepared for that. At least in my opinion we should. That's just how I'm feeling about the game. Granted, I don't think it's going to be a disaster like Battlefield 4. I think we'll see something at the level like Battlefield 3's launch, which, I mean, I don't want it to be that way, but keeping it real, I feel like that is going to be the outcome of the game. I think it will function well enough and be fun, but I think there will be a few bumps in the road. That's gonna take some time to iron out when the game releases. I mean, let's think back to how long it took to get a proper reveal trailer of the game. None of the other games in the series took that long. At least most didn't, especially with the games leading up to 2042, before 2042. Just thinking back to that also makes me concerned, so yeah, when it comes down to it, I think that we need to manage our expectations. Alright, but that doesn't mean at the same time acting like the game is going to be absolute garbage, that's going to be a total piece of shit, which is just, like, a worse Battlefield 4. Like, no, guys. I think that's overdoing it. And at the same time, acting as if this is going to be the second coming of Jesus, and acting like this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread in the greatest game to ever exist, period. I think that is also overdoing it. I think both extremes is pushing it. And it's important to have a good middle ground here, especially in the instance of a game like this where some things feel a little uncertain, perhaps a little too uncertain, but you know, some certainty is definitely mixed in with the baking of the game. So, all in all, that's just what I wanted to say. I just wanted to make a video talking about this. I mean, bro, 100 gigabytes for a fucking beta? 100 gigabytes? And a 360 memory card for the graphics, like at a recommended place of the game for recommended. I'm fucking up my speech today. This is the requirements. I mean, I know this is Battlefield and DICE, but still, guys. 100 gigs for a beta to just install it for 2 days, 4 at most. What are they putting into this game? Either that, or the compression is just garbage. Maybe they're taking the Activision route of having the game be having it take up so much storage space that all you can play is Battlefield. The only game you're allowed to run is Battlefield. Like, watch. By the time the game comes out, it's gonna take 200 gigabytes to install, and when they release the rumored Battle Royale mode and the Hazard mode, or maybe Hazard mode is that Battle Royale. But watch, when that gets released, the shit's gonna take like 300 gigabytes altogether. Actually, no. Hazard Zone's gonna be 300 gigabytes, and the rest of the game is gonna be 200 gigabytes, so you're gonna need, honestly, you're gonna need 2 terabytes to run this game in full. 2 terabytes. Okay? This is the real deal. I said I gotta keep it real, that's another thing we gotta keep it real about. This game is gonna take up your entire hard drive space, so be ready for that. But yeah, there you go. Just wanted to talk about that. Been a while since a video has been longer than 3 minutes, so, you know, that's pretty cool as well, I guess. But that's it. What do you guys think? Are you concerned for 2042? Are you extremely hyped? Are you very negative when it comes to this game? Where are you at when it comes to the placement of this game in terms of your excitement factor? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below as always, as well as make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, turn on the notification bell. Social media links all in the description, so follow me on those platforms, and I'll see you all next time. But until then, I'm out. Later.